Hey, it's Ryan with QLZ, and we are doing our first local band interview. I got to think of a fun name for this somehow. It's the QLZ Green Room as usual, but I want to need to find something for the locals. We got Keagan and we got John. You guys are in the Lovelorn right here in Springfield. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. All right.
Good. So you guys had reached out to Rocky, and Rocky's like, "Hey, man, check these guys out. Check out some of their music. You guys have a brand new album coming out on Saturday. But first off, since I am brand new to Springfield, pretty much still the first 3 months, kind of how long have you guys been in the local scene here, and kind of how'd you guys come together?
This project specifically has been, we officially formed 2020.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best time to form, but
No.
we did. Yeah, that's
Necessity, really.
yeah. The band became an entity in 2020, and then we really started to hit the ground running in 2021 when things started to open up more and everything. So this band's technically been together for about 3 years now, with about 2 years of actual life to it.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool. How long have you guys been in the local scene in general then? Have you guys been in previous bands, or is this kind of the first project?
Yeah, both of it. Yeah, we used to actually just be in a two-piece together. We met back in high school, and
Okay.
we've been playing music together nearly ever since then. We've both broken off and taken other ventures for a little bit and dabbled with some other people making music, but we've always been best friends and found our way back to each other. Started making music again. We do have a couple other members in the band, Richard and Harrison, that are not able to join us today. But yeah, we met up with those guys a little bit later on, and then that's kind of how this thing started.
Okay. Now, did you guys get together before everything was shut down, or was this going back, I guess, a couple of years? Was this a project that you guys like once states were shut down, you couldn't play anywhere? Is that when you guys got together, or was it prior to that, or prior to
So
things being shut down?
essentially, the idea of the band came prior to anything becoming like a problem. I was in a band at the time that was getting towards the end of its life cycle, and I knew because I was playing lead guitar in that band, but I knew that I wanted to start something where I sang and played guitar again. So I was already in the process of making this idea for the Lovelorn before that ended. And then once that ended, essentially I kind of had a groundwork already laid out, and knowing John and playing with John for years prior, once that ended, I called him up and was texting him and like, hey, I'm like, I have this idea. I think it's really killer. I've got songs already written. I've got a whole aesthetic made. Do you want to try to do this? And then essentially we started, I would say, jamming and stuff maybe like late 2019.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I was with another band as well, but we were still finding time, just to meet up on weekends and whatnot, just to try out this new idea, which was a bit of a far cry from what it actually is now. We were actually kind of jamming more like a sunny, dreamy indie kind of style music, just to dabble with, and that eventually found its roots back to more alternative, a little bit of blues and whatnot. But that is how it started. And then we definitely were not ready to be playing music or going out or anything in the year 2020. We definitely just spent that time writing, working on that first album, which was actually originally as a three-piece. We were shopping around for a bass player. Again, we were jamming two-piece for a number of years. And so a bass player was kind of a big gem for us to find.
Bass players are the hardest. Man, when we were early on, basically 2020 was spent in quarantine and isolation, just writing and making everything. And I remember sending stuff to him, and if him and I ever got together, it was a lot of like premeditated. Okay, we only have this much time, but this is the idea. Let's go with it. But then when the opportunity to actually play and start coming together as a unit, put all the pieces together, man, finding a bass player was like just the toughest thing. I don't ever want to get back to a point where I have to find a bass player.
We got to keep everybody happy.
We always said, we're like, this is why we were two-piece, man. It's just way easier. But no, the bass player we have now, Harrison, he's a catch, man. He's a beast. I wish he was here I could talk him up. It's fun.
It's funny, man. You guys mentioned the bass player. There's so many bands I follow on social media, and it's like, oh, who wants to be our next bass player? We can't find one. We need auditions. I don't know what it is about bass players, but
They're
you're
usually
always
playing
looking
in
for one.
3 different bands at a time.
Yeah, or their guitars, because our bassist now he plays guitar and he has played guitar in projects too. And our lead guitarist Richard, we actually had him fill in. We had a bassist for a minute that we actually had to refill that slot again. He left.
Yeah. So
we reached out to Richard. He's a longtime friend of mine. Where I was like, hey, I know you play guitar. I know you can do this bass stuff. Is there any way you'll do it?
Ricky actually tracked the bass on the entire first album and even played bass in one of our music videos for that. But we've never, as the Lovelorn, played a gig as a 3-piece. It became 4-piece after we wrapped that album up.
Yep.
So
awesome. Very cool. You guys mentioned previous album, the new album. It's called Witch House. It is out this Saturday. So tell me about the record, everything, man. The sound, what can people expect? Where can they get it? Where can they buy it? All that good stuff.
So this album, to me, I think it very much can exist in the same realm as our first album. The first album was a little more stripped back, with it just being us two, mainly doing most of the writing, everything. But with this, bringing in Ricky on lead guitar and Harrison on bass, it really fully fleshed out, and it became more of a dreamier, fuller sound. And the idea of Witch House essentially came from it. I wouldn't necessarily call it like a concept album, but the idea that I had was I wanted it to feel like every song that you start sounds like you're going into a different room. You're navigating a different room of the same house. So every song kind of has its own character, but it still very much exists in the same house.
Very cool. I like that. That's a cool way to describe it. I don't think I've ever heard an album described that way before. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. I had a whole thing, and I brought it to him, and I was like, what do you guys think of doing this idea that I had? And and we brought everything out and got it all fleshed. And I definitely describe the album as dreamy. Like that was always the word going into it, was I wanted a dreamy feel with it.
It is. It's very dreamy. It's very atmospheric. To me personally, I think it's also, when in our first album, May You Find Worth in the Waking World, we dabbled with a lot of imagery and lyrics aimed towards a bit of like the afterlife, supernatural, dealing with life and death, relationships. We had a similar witchy title on a song off that first album. I really feel like it was Witch House, and everything that we get into in this album, it was a brief concept that we visited on the first album, and this second album was how can we take that and really flesh that out and really get into cool specifics, cool imagery, really make something that has a lot of body and a lot of meaning, different meanings, different interpretations for the listener. And I really think we achieved that with this album. And like you said, with 2 other members, really being able to flesh out that sound. And really create something that at this point in time is our best work. This is the most proud I've been on a musical endeavor. I'm really proud of the guys. And I feel like that's kind of where things started for this album.
Make sure they watch it, because you guys have talked them up quite a bit. Make sure they watch this as well, so that you guys are complimenting him throughout it.
Yeah, I was literally going to say I do need to shout out Richard Stone and Harrison Ketchum. That's the guitar and bassist, just because even though they aren't here, they with a lot of the songwriting, it is a lot of like stuff that I have written, and then I structure it, and then I bring it to everyone. And I'm like, okay, how do you guys want to attack this? But like at the end of the day, these songs wouldn't have turned out the way they did if I didn't have Ricky's lead guitar input and Harrison's bass and just their knowledge of music in general. Because John and I have always been we are not like the technical on paper guys.
Right.
Like we've always just been much more the
play the
moment. Yeah, play.
You feel it. Yeah.
we can feel it out, and we'll make it work. As to where those guys, they have that, but they also have the musical know-how, where they could be like, oh yeah, that's this chord going into this one, and this is how you play it, and this is how we like, if you want to try going into it this way, we should do that. I mean, it was like,
it's a perfect marriage. It really is. Yeah, it works out very well.
Do you guys are you guys going to have physical copies as well of the album, or just okay? Where can people? Where can people get them?
So this album will be available for streaming everywhere on Saturday, May 20th.
Yeah.
We are currently waiting for the physical copies to get to us. We have them ordered and everything. So once we actually have them, we plan on selling them for the first time. We have a show on June 2nd.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night at George Ranks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bar kind of right outside, like on the edge of downtown.
Okay, cool.
On 6th Street. Yeah.
We're going to sell our physical copies there. So we're kind of making that like the album release show.
Very cool.
It'll be available on CD and to be announced vinyl, hopefully sometime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my Linkin Park 20th anniversary Meteora edition on vinyl. Yeah. It's been I ordered it was supposed to be out a month and a half ago. I'm still waiting. So yeah, it's crazy trying to wait for any vinyl right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So well, that's cool. You guys are gonna have again, man. June 2nd. Where's the show at again?
That's at George Ranks.
Okay, George Ranks. All right, cool. So check it out. Before I let you guys go, man, John and Keagan, question that I ask every band now because it's a fun question to ask. It used to be a blog post when I was living in Wisconsin. It's your favorite complete albums of all time. The albums from start to finish. You don't skip any songs on. You turn it on and you just let it go.
That's rough. I would say just off of memory, I haven't visited for a while, but I just remember from my youth, the very first Breaking Benjamin album.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it was a great album, front to back. I loved it. The other album, I would say most currently, I am a big fan of the Deftones. I would say Diamond Eyes or Koino Yoken. I always forget how to pronounce that one, but those two albums back to back, man, they're bangers. I love those albums front to back for me.
Awesome.
If we're staying in like the full band, like a rock band, like I really enjoy jazz. So there's a lot of jazz albums that I listen to that I can do that with. But like I'll stick with rock. I'll give you two of them.
All right.
I'll give you the classic Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. That's an easy start to finish for me. I turn that on from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. I would call that probably a no skip album. My personal favorite album of all time is the 1975's I Like It When You Sleep.
Okay.
That is a killer album and a really big inspiration for me. I can start that from track one to the last one, and it's damn near perfect for me. So
awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys diving into it. It's a fun question to ask because everybody's kind of all over the place with it. So it's good. So again, Witch House, the album is out on Saturday. You guys have basically the album release show June 2nd. Where can everybody follow you guys? Website, socials, all that good stuff to stay up to date with everything the band's doing.
Yeah. We've got Lovelorn Band Official .com. No, hang on. It's the Lovelorn Official. Excuse me. The Lovelorn Official.com. Recently acquired website, so I'm still on that brand. But that is going to have everything on it. That's our, electronic press kit. So you can get on there to contact us. It's got dates for shows. It's got our official bio, links to all our socials. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, what have you. And again, that's got our contact information on there as well. If you like what you hear and are interested in hiring us for your venue, we would love to play it. Reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah, but awesome. all the traditional social media, Facebook, Instagram, just look up the Lovelorn Band Official or the Lovelorn Band Official. That's usually can get you on the right track there.
It's a unique name, so people should be able to find it pretty easily. So I like it. It should be pretty easy to find. So, John, Keagan, man, I appreciate you guys coming on today. Hopefully, we'll be able to work more in the future, man. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, Ryan, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
We appreciate it.